Good day, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who do not know me, I am the AmericanSpyFox, and I have a short video for you. Recently, under the community tab of my channel, I ran a poll. I said, which would the viewers rather see, a series on the Foo Fighters or a series on Smashing Pumpkins? Foo Fighters won 58% to 42%, so naturally I started researching Dave Grohl. When you think of Nirvana, you think of Kurt Cobain. When you think of Foo Fighters, you think of Dave Grohl. And I came across something that led me to make this video. This is the infamous incident at the Trees Club, October 19th, 1991. Kurt Cobain gets into it with a bouncer. Chances are, if you're a Nirvana fan, you've seen this footage, but you may not know why it happened. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's look at the footage. There are two things I would like to point out and talk to you about, and then we will have Mr. David Grohl himself explain what was going on here, why it occurred. Okay, so we have Nirvana playing Love Buzz. As you can see, it's a very tight, packed venue. The Trees Club is a very small venue. Nevermind has just come out. So Nirvana is still touring very small venues. These guys have never been famous before. They're not used to being famous. Now, if you don't know this, stage diving is very dangerous for a famous person. That's why you don't see famous people doing it. People will rip your hair out, rip your jewelry off, rip your clothes off, anything to just say that they touched that rock star. I remember back in high school, my guitarist's older sister went to a Pearl Jam concert, got front row tickets, ripped out Eddie Vedder's hair, and brought it to school and showed it to people. I wouldn't doubt it if she still owns it to this day. Stage diving is dangerous, and I want to play this as I'm talking. Kurt jumps out, they toss him around a little bit, and they do what any good crowd should do. After all, a lot of them might not even understand how famous Kurt Cobain is about to be. So they start pushing him back to the stage. This is something that a small band, a small musician could get away with. They're gonna just be tossed around, pushed back on stage. Again, if you're famous, it doesn't go like that. They might wrestle you to the floor and suffocate you. Had this show occurred maybe 2 months in the future, Kurt wouldn't have made it back to the stage that quick and that easy. Now look at what the bouncer does. He starts pushing Kurt back into the crowd. He has to know how dangerous this is. In other words, he's trying to get Kurt hurt. Look at how tightly packed the crowd is. People have suffocated from being pushed up against stages or bodies when they fall down and then people stand or fall on top of them. People have died at concerts in this fashion. His job is to pull Kurt back on stage, keep the audience away. But you can see him pushing Kurt back into the audience. Kurt's reaction, completely justified in my opinion. You're putting me in danger. I'm going to try to stop you. Kurt hits him with the guitar. You put me in danger, that means that I have to do what I need to do for my safety. In my opinion, completely justified. You know, I got to thinking, why did this bouncer do this? And it turns out there was already bad blood between Kurt and the bouncer before this incident occurred. Through this Howard Stern interview, I believe it was in 1998, from what Dave tells us, we learned that the bouncer already had bad blood with Kurt. Kurt had hit his monitor that he partially owned earlier in the show. So the bouncer was looking to fuck with Kurt, which should tell you that the bouncer knew what he was doing, pushing Kurt back into the crowd, was not okay. And it was jeopardizing Kurt's safety. Another thing I want to point out, and I'm going to play the footage in slow motion for you, this bouncer is probably twice the size of Kurt Cobain, and he's such a sucker pussy ass coward that, notice, he waits until Kurt is on his knees with his head turned before he sucker punches him. That's a prick job, dude. That's a coward's move. When I first saw this, I honestly thought Chris Novoselic was going to tear this redneck apart, because a lot of people think of Chris as this pot smoking liberal hippie, but you may not know Chris has been bailed out of jail before when he was younger for fighting, for beating up rednecks in Aberdeen. I mean, the dude's 6'7", 200 and something pounds, and he used to fight with the rednecks. He did not back down from them. He would scrap with them. But you see Chris taking his shirt off. Apparently, for some reason, he feels sorry for the guy. Guy's got blood all over his face. Chris is trying to use his shirt to offer up to stop the bleeding, and the dude, being the tough sucker puncher that he is, turns it down. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever seen this footage and you wondered what was up that bouncer's ass, why he wasn't helping Kurt back onto the stage and he was pushing him back out, now you know. Foo Fighters series #1 is coming up next. Don't forget to click that like button and subscribe. More designs will be coming to the merch store as well. Check it out in the near future. Bye bye.